This is Star 106.5 FM, Nassau, the Bahamas.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of the radio program Jeffrey are solely their opinions, and they are not necessarily those of the management or staff of the Nassau Guardian or Star 106.5.
This is Jeffrey on Star 106.5 FM.
Child abuse is the subject of our program this afternoon here on Star 106.5. It is the last Monday in the month of June in 2009. Jeffrey Llyod in your company. Folks, it's getting horrific out there with people being accused of child molestation and abuse. In fact, their own family members, in some instances, parents. Well, today we're going to have a chat with volunteer Erica Morris. We're going to also talk with Pastor Gil Maycock, all by way of telephone, right here on Star 106, talking about this horrendous creeping culture, the spirit of destruction that is now pervading our land and being expressed through some of the people that should be protecting children, adults, their own family, God forbid, their own parents. We're here on Star. I'm Jeffrey. Unfortunate thing is not just simply that child abuse is occurring, but it is occurring and being perpetrated by people who are supposed to be protectors of children. Holy smoke. We are talking about even parents. And when I say child abuse, by the way, because Michael Jackson has now gone on to meet his maker, and because in the early years of his life he had accused his father, Joe Jackson, of being an abuser, we're not talking about what now could be maybe probably defined as physical abuse if you pull off your strap and you swack a guy across the behind. I'm not talking about that at all. We're talking about men and sometimes women who are inflicting sexual abuse on infants, children. It's serious. It's really serious. And there's a group out there that's calling for child molesters, child abusers, sexual abusers to be registered pedophiles, and let you know if they move into your neighborhood, if they're anywhere on the planet. But it's going to be an interesting show today. We're going to talk with Erica Morris. We're going to appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this day we're going to be talking about child abuse. And now it's getting a lot of headlines in the Bahamas. And it's quite frankly, it's a very, very, very disturbing subject matter. You may have heard the authorities, Dr. Don Sandra Dane Patterson of the Crisis Center, report that the alarming statistics in the rise of child abuse over the last year has got authorities and officials very, very concerned. But we're going to talk this afternoon to Ms. Erica Morris, who is a volunteer with the Crisis Center, also a new spokesman for the Bahamas against child and sexual abuse everywhere. Good afternoon, Erica, and thanks a lot for joining us.
How are you?
Hi, Erica. Thank you very much for joining us. Tell me, first of all, what's going on at the Crisis Center and your organization. Is that Bahamas or Bahamians against child abuse or sexual?
Well, it's Bahamas against sexual violence and child abuse. And yes, we've partnered with the Crisis Center as far as getting, volunteers and trying to basically get the word out and to educate the public about child abuse and sexual violence.
How long have your organization been formed?
Well, we just formed it about 3 weeks ago. And it was actually a Facebook venture.
Yes.
And we got a little over close to 8,000 members to join it.
Whee!
Yeah, and yes, social networking is the thing now. But we didn't just want to be a knee-jerk type of organization where, something happened or we believed something happened, and we had this mob mentality. Me and a couple of other people were really passionate about it. We really want to make a difference and do something about it and not just say we're a part of this.
And what are you intending to do?
Well, we want to amend some of the laws, get some stricter laws as far as sexual violence and child abuse, and to educate. Those are our two main focus.
Let me ask you, Erica, there are just, it seems to be overwhelmed the Bahamian people, the number of reports about sexual abuse of minor children, of children.
Exactly.
And the most probably offensive part of these reports is the fact that sometimes these children are abused by people who should be protecting them, their parents or their relatives. Are you in support, your organization in support of registered child sex offenders?
Yes, sir. 110%.
And it should be legislated that these persons are registered and that fact be known nationwide.
Yes. And, there are some pros and cons with it, but I think that the pros outweighs the cons, and then probably with having this registry and having that, a legislative act, that you would stop some people from doing it. Because I think the mindset of some people is that, okay, I'm not going to get in trouble. Nobody's going to say anything about it or whatnot, So I think if we definitely have stricter laws about it, this is something that I think the statistics will definitely drop, and especially in unreported cases. And, because I think Ms. Patterson said there's only been 10%. I think 10% of those that have actually been convicted, if I'm saying that correctly. But yes, so we are definitely for having a registry.
Has any study that you are aware of, or by which your organization predicates its apostolate, provided a reason, a justification, an explanation for why do adults abuse children, particularly, I would say, any child under the age of 5? Why are children sexually abused by adults?
Well, with the studies that I've had, a lot of them has to do, when you find an adult that can look at a child and want to harm them, first of all, in any way, especially sexually, 9 times out of 10, that adult has been molested themselves and really doesn't see anything wrong with that. And I would think that is one of the biggest reasons why they do what they do. And I just think that some people, just don't care. Would they really do it if they knew that they were going to get caught? So, but being the person who's probably been molested before, I think that is the biggest issue.
And this issue of child molestation, apparently it is not being reported or addressed in a way and at a time that can interrupt this cycle of repetition. Now, is it because people are so deeply wounded and ashamed because of what has happened to them that they don't come forward and they don't seek assistance? Or is it because if they do come forward, there is going to be somewhat of a repetition and a shame that is brought into their own lives? Am I getting that right?
Yes, sir. And it's definitely a culmination of that and a lot of other things. Just think about it. Let me draw an illustration for you. If you have a child that's being molested at 5 and someone is threatening them, you better not tell anybody.
Right.
Or I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your mom, I'm going to hurt you, or this is going to hurt your mother. Okay? And you're putting that, you're indoctrinating that into that child.
Right.
You know when the real shame comes, you know when all of the adults afterwards, when they really have the problem, when they realize that act was wrong.
Right.
The shame that comes with it. Not being able to go and talk to anybody about it because you don't want to be stigmatized.
That's correct.
One of the other things I think is the lack of communication. I realize that a lot of parents don't talk to their children about their sexual parts.
Yes.
That is something that is natural.
Right.
And I think as long as your children can understand, that is something that you need to talk to them about. These little cute names that we have, no, this is, a vagina.
Yes.
No one is to touch that.
Yeah, this is no Susie Boom and all that kind of stuff.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No one is to touch that. Mm-hmm. Nobody is going to kill or hurt you, if they touch, and if you don't feel comfortable with it, you come and talk to me about this. You have a lot of children that their parents do not have these conversations
And is this now, Erica, because there is, again, it may be a cultural thing.